Welcome to Feeling Asian, a podcast where two Asians talk about their feelings. I'm Youngmi Mayer.
And I'm Brian Park.
I think I said two agents, but I meant Asians. Agents of chaos.
It's just us two this week.
Yeah, we have a solo episode. We like to do these to catch up every once in a while because we have so many stupid fucking ideas. But yeah, before we get to our stupid fucking ideas, we're gonna do the Patreon shout outs like always.
Yeah. Once again, listeners, if you like the podcast, please consider supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/feelingasian. A little goes a long way, but any donation amount gets you a shout out on the podcast where Youngmi and I give you a positive affirmation.
Yeah, and we try to make you feel good is what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I think we're still figuring out what a positive affirmation is.
I'm never gonna just Google it, which would take 0.05 seconds.
Right. But yeah, let's get them out of the way. Let's do them. So first shout out goes out to Sierra Bassa.
Sierra Bassa has really cool tattoos, like the ones where you're like, yeah.
Sierra Bassa, you are a ray of sunshine. Yes,
I get that vibe too, but kind of goth on the outside, ray of sunshine on the inside.
That's kind of funny, actually.
Like a very positive
goth.
That's so funny.
I'm really your dreadfulness is on point today.
Brian, you look so goth. Good for you. Like that.
Yeah. Positive goth.
Horny goth.
Next shout out goes out to Saki Sato.
Saki Sato is just has the most nice skin. I feel like that's the vibe I'm getting.
Yeah. Radiates. Inside and out.
What was that? Ray of sunshine.
All of my affirmations.
Goth on the inside. Outside looks very positive, but extremely goth and loves death on the inside.
Thank you, Saki. Ashley on.
I'm
getting very athletic vibes.
I was getting sort of like type A has her shit together.
That's exactly.
Yeah, yep. That's
strong leader.
Right?
Yeah. You're assertive, yet gentle when it's necessary.
I think the theme of today's shout outs are two people that are two things at once.
Julia Wang.
I feel like this person is like very like rich. Has like urban feeling to me.
Urban?
Is that an affirmation? You're rich and urban. Like, like city person. I'm street smart. I know how to.
Okay.
Doesn't have to look at Google Maps every time you go to the subway like I do.
You're right. Like if you are visiting a large metropolitan city, you want Julia to guide you and show you where all the spots are.
Yep.
Yeah. Julia will guarantee a great time. Joanne Park,
the opposite. Gets lost. Needs Google Maps just to take her to the neighborhood grocery store, like me. But it's because she uses so much brain power.
This is the positive affirmation
at work,
part.
which is an important job.
Joanne Park, you work hard.
You work hard.
Next shout out goes out to Tate.
You are just, you
humble
are
king.
Humble king.
Yeah.
Humble king.
Tate is a humble king.
Yeah.
Tate is a hot name, though.
Tate is a very hot name.
Tate is also the name of a bully.
Like a little bit. That's your affirmation. You have the name of a bully, but you're not.
Next shout out goes out to Wendy.
Wendy is just has the most beautiful pets. She loves them and takes care of them.
You're incredibly grounded, and for better or for worse, your friends come to you because you have a good head on your shoulders, and you give great advice.
Okay.
Chi Fam.
I feel like this person has just like, just when you look at them on the street, you're like, why can't my life be like that person? dressed well, got their shit together. Why am I eating a burrito while walking down Fifth Avenue?
Are there certain people that you are jealous of? Like, is there a pattern to whenever you have that feeling on the street of New York, you're like,
jealous on the street?
I
don't get that.
Are they pretty diverse? Or yeah, I guess what I'm saying.
Not now that I'm older, but I feel like when I was younger, it'd be like, you feel like competitive with somebody that looks better than you, sort of thing.
Same vibe.
Yeah, but now that I'm older, at that sort of feeling, I'm like, why? Because you always look at people that are kind of similar to you? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, well, it's twofold. It used to be kind of what you said.
Yeah.
Like people who fit the same similar mold.
Like the competitive thing, right?
Yeah, and then Crazy Rich Asians came out, and then that's when I realized, I'm going to concede. I lost this battle.
It's fine. I'm fine being an ugly potato.
No, but in college it was the really rich international students.
Oh.
Like, damn, that'd be pretty nice to be that.
What is going on with the rich international Asian students where they're so attractive?
They've always been attractive.
Because they're rich and attractive. That's not fair.
I think it's there's like a classist thing at play. I think if you just have lots of money, you have access to lots of resources that can make you look good.
Damn.
But damn, if I was born into that, no complaints. Seems pretty nice.
Brian's already hot and he's poor, so imagine how hot he would be if he was rich. I can't look. It's too bright.
Okay. Next shout out goes out to Donna Kim. Ooh.
Donna.
We know this person.
Donna Kim?
Yeah, we met Donna at, or I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Donna at your friend Guang's rooftop barbecue.
Oh, is it spelled D-A-N-A? Dana?
No, DAN-AH. Now, for your positive affirmation.
Yes.
Incredible children's book author. Go out there and pre-order The Grandmaster's Daughter. Wow. We're going to put the plug in.
You're a great children's book. What if we pretended that was our psychic energy?
But Donna, thank you for supporting the Patreon. And our last shout out for this episode goes out to Phoebe Wong.
Phoebe, you are I see, like, I can see you in my head. I have like a psychic vibe right now. I feel like you are like 5'4" height, long hair in braids, and you are that's my guess. Tell me if I'm right. That's the positive affirmation. You're 5'4".
The positive affirmation.
That's a great height.
Guessing what they look like.
Being 5'4" is amazing.
Phoebe Wong, you know what, Phoebe? You're a goal setter. You work really hard, and you are a role model and inspiration for your friends because you're very ambitious. You set a lot of goals, but time and time again, you achieve those goals.
Yeah, you did it.
Yeah.
I like how I really have to Google positive affirmation. One of my affirmations today was you're 5'4".
But yes, thank you, all of you who donated to the Patreon. It means so much. And once again, if you'd like to support the pod, you can do so at patreon.com/feelingasian.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this on the day that it comes out, tomorrow is our live show. We have Feeling Asian live once a month. This month we have amazing guests. We have Asa Akira, obviously
Bohan
Phoenix, very great. Jordan great. Mendoza, very amazing. And the tickets are sold out, but there will be some tickets at the door. And at the last day, I think they
release a few.
Yeah, they release a few.
People can't make it. It's Halloween weekend. Ooh, are we gonna make should they wear costumes?
Wear costumes?
Yeah.
What if everyone shows up as Squid Game? That'd be funny. That'd be
fun.
like, what if that happens?
There is a high likelihood that will happen. Because Squid Game it's going to be the most popular Halloween costume.
I'm sure it is.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm dressing up as Squid Game.
You are?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. It's gonna be
Yeah.
a surprise for
It's
everyone
gonna
that
be
comes to
surprise.
the show.
Who in Squid Game?
Oh, who? You look like 8 people in Squid Game, Brian. Now, that's not me being stereotyping. It's
I
just
think that's
being
just
like,
how I just look Korean.
you have that like strong like eyebrow line. I think that all the like Korean actors have.
Yeah, that's
who
true.
Who do you think is the hottest person in Squid Game?
The North Korean defector.
Yeah, you know who I think is the hottest? The guy. I forgot his name.
Jang Ho-yeon.
Oh yeah, she's so hot.
Well, she's
a model.
she was literally a high fashion model before she got cast in Squid Game. She's so hot.
She is so hot.
But
yeah.
have you seen these new YouTube videos that have sprouted up where it's the straight up race science where they're like,
I have seen that.
This is why Jang Ho-yeon is so attractive, and they're like applying European beauty standards to her face.
It was
I'm
so
like,
fucked up.
what the fuck are you? Who asked for this?
Also, starting a company based on the pseudoscience that literally led to Nazi Germany. Not the best look for a company in 2021.
Not the best look.
They're like she's attractive because her like face meets European beauty standards. Bitch, she looks Asian as fuck. She looks like my mom when she was younger. How is she fucking anyway?
Well, who do you think is the hottest in Squid Game?
The guy that was in the subway playing the takji.
Kongyu?
Yeah.
The one, all those memes where you want to get slapped by him?
Yes. He's been hot. He reminds me so much of Daniel Day-Lewis in a weird way.
Kongyu.
He meets European beauty standards. He's hot because his face looks white. I'm
Gosh.
just kidding. God, what the fuck,
and now there's
man?
those...
People are so weird.
There's those images of him, like he did a Calvin Klein ad and he's shirtless.
Don't show me that,
That
Brian.
is crazy.
To show the YouTube watchers. Don't show us that. Not now.
Yeah, he's a hot dude.
Yeah, he's hot.
Yeah, this is my favorite Instagram account of the Squid Game cast. Hands down goes to Ho Sung-tae, and he plays the gangster with the snake tattoo. His Instagram account is perfection. Like his caption game
is it good?
is,
I
oh
haven't
my
seen it.
god.
I'm gonna check it
Like
out.
he took a selfie of himself and he's just holding flowers.
Oh yeah,
and
I saw
he's like,
that.
thank you for making me a millionaire. But what he meant is a million followers.
Also, the funniest thing is he's posing like all of our moms. All of our moms, like a Korean mom, you get a camera and she somehow finds flowers and she's holding them like this. I'm like, where'd you get those flowers, mom?
And
so funny.
all of his posts are so sincere, and like he's just like sincerely a very nice man.
Yeah.
But in the show, he plays a villainous gangster, and it's a testament to how his great acting. He's a great actor.
Yeah.
But all his captions are like, "Love you," like smile with like a heart emoji. Just it's so
he
cute.
He is just a Korean mom. That's so funny.
So I guess I could just go as myself for Halloween, and I'm Squid Game. And when people ask me who in Squid Game, I say all of it. I am Squid Game.
I
am all of Squid Game.
I'm Squid Game for Halloween. Oh my god! I asked Mino what he wanted to be for Halloween. He said I want to be World War II for Halloween, and I was like, "That's like your vibe." Like I am Squid Game. Mino's World War II. I was like, what does that mean? Like the concept of World War II, or what's going on here? He was like World War II.
That's so funny.
That's an event, bro.
That reminds me of a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode with Larry David, where he like babysits a gay child, and the whole thing is that he tells the mom like, I think your son's gay, and she gets really offended, but the son is like an aspiring fashion designer, and he looks at the Nazi uniforms and he's like, I love the lines, like how like edgy it is, and it goes like curses and crosses.
Oh my god, that's Mino.
Oh god. But yeah, no, so sorry, that was a little tangent there. Live show is tomorrow if you're listening to this today. It's gonna be great, and yeah, more tickets should be available online.
Hope to see you there.
Okay, so it's just us two, baby. How are you feeling, Youngmi?
I got like how you act. I was thinking about the hot guy.
We've been doing this podcast for over 2 years, and I like how we still act surprised.
I know. No, I am surprised. I'm like, oh shit, people want to hear. I have to say, I am feeling kind of weirdly like, why do people want to hear me talk? But that's something I have to get out of my head, I guess, because if they didn't want to hear me talk, they wouldn't. So like, if they do, then they do. You know what I mean?
Right.
But something happened, and I thought it was like, I have so many emotions about it, so I want to tell you.
Okay.
And it's kind of like a big deal. Okay.
Oh shit.
So Mino, goes to public school, and somehow through his dad, received an invitation to apply to a very, very fancy, very well-known private school.
Okay.
A grade school in Manhattan. It's like one of the top ones, and it's not like the shitty. It's not like those like rigid, like the ones that like send you straight to Harvard where you have to wear uniforms. It's not like that. It's like a progressive, like hippy dippy school. Great. Like where it's just like they really care about emotions and they really care about your child and everything's like soft and stuff like that.
Right.
I'm not going to tell.
And they still send the children to Harvard
because everyone there knows, right? And it's like there's like a lot of like like quote unquote like whatever
politics,
New Yorkers and stuff like that go there. And he received an invitation, and because obviously we can't afford it to get financial aid. I'm sure it's okay that I say this. And then it makes it substantially cheaper. I think it makes it like a fifth of what the price is, and so it's still expensive, but it's kind of doable.
Yeah.
So we're starting this process to see if he's gonna get accepted. But I have a lot of emotions about this because the people, it's Manhattan, right? It's a very expensive school. Yeah, it's a well-known school. It is like these things that people send to make sure that their children get to network with a certain community and get into like whatever college. And I don't know. And I have a friend whose husband used to go to that school. Okay. And she said that he had a hard time. I think he also got like some sort of financial aid. Right. He had a hard time because all of his classmates were like billionaires' kids. Right. And they would be like, "Oh, what are you doing this weekend? We're taking our private jet to like Vail to go skiing or whatever." Yeah. And then he had a hard time because he was just like, "Oh, I don't have a private jet or whatever," Right. And so I was kind of like, God, like, I don't want it to negatively affect him if he's just a regular kid among these people that are extremely wealthy. Right. Because that's very hard. And I'm sure that the school, because it's so aware of emotions and stuff like that, they probably take a lot of pains to make sure that that's not a big issue. But kids always know, they always know like who's rich and who's not rich, like, and it's psychologically like kind of a hurdle, so I was worried about that. And so then I was like, do I even want him to even be a part of that sort of environment? Right. And then I was like, but you do, it's like, I am at heart an anti-capitalist. Like, I don't believe in this sort of, I don't believe in, I mean, I love it, give me that Gucci belt buckle, but but I don't believe in this fucking thing and like sending your kid to Harvard. I don't fucking give a shit about academics in that sense. I don't.
Really? Interesting.
Like academics, and that's, I want Mino to know things about the world, like history, and like I don't want him to have like weird propaganda where he, like, I don't know, like weird ideologies, but just like, yeah, I don't know.
I get where you're coming from on this, and I don't, I'm not a parent, so I haven't had to like be confronted with these sorts of decisions. Yeah. But I did go to a high school like similar to what you just described for Mino. Yeah. And you and Danny are both like very level-headed, well-rounded parents, and you have like a good perspective on the world that isn't like incredibly myopic and like narrow, where I feel like some New Yorkers who are like exist in that upper crust of socialite status, like that's all they know. They don't go anywhere beneath like 42nd Street, Yeah. And
42nd. I've never even been to 40. I've never been up to 42nd.
But yeah, I mean, but ultimately I think that even if you go through with this decision and Mino does go there, he's still going to like be your son and
That's
like
what I
have
thought.
the like you've imbued these values in him. And like I'm sure it's going to be somewhat challenging at first because it is a big like culture shock more than anything to be surrounded by like this level of wealth or like people from like certain backgrounds.
Yeah.
But it is a ultimately I feel like it will most likely be beneficial because that sort of
Yeah.
access, like whether we want to admit it or not, that access to that kind of network
Yeah.
provides such a leg up
That's
in
what I mean.
society.
That's what I mean. I'm
where-
like, fuck capitalism. I don't believe in networking with rich people, but I'm like, take my son, please, please, be friends with that guy. His dad works at Goldman Sachs, or you know,
Right,
like.
right.
But in the back of my head, I'm like, I want to give him the opportunity to thrive in this world that I don't believe in. I don't know. Like, you know, it's a lot going on. But obviously, if we
Yeah.
get the opportunity, I'm gonna send him because it's like, might as well. I don't want to ever stunt his chances
His
because of
growth
my
or
fucking
potential, yeah.
weird, stupid ideologies that I probably don't really actually believe in anyway. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I wanted to try, but yeah, there's a lot of like concern. But also, I
Yeah.
want to say that what you said with the culture shock thing, I don't think that kids of that age even are really gonna be, they're probably all gonna just be chill. Like they don't really fully understand that concept. It's just later on, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I was definitely speaking from my own personal experience
When you
I
went to high
went.
school?
Yeah, I went to
Yeah, what was that like?
Yeah, I went to like a rich preppy boarding school for high
I
school.
remember you told me.
Yeah, and the culture shock was a big challenge for me because, and I didn't know this until after the fact, but like parents, and it's fucked up, but parents will go to these alumni meetings and like befriend other rich parents of a certain class and then make sure that their kids get roomed together. And like the parents are basically influencing how their children's tenure at the school is going to go because they want to ensure that their daughters or like their sons are friends with certain types of, do you know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
So it's fucked. But in high school, like, you know, you're on your way there to becoming like an adult. Like you have a conception of yourself and like what your interests are. And it was hard at first because I came from like El Paso, which isn't like LA or New York. And then I quickly realized like the things that I was interested in is quote unquote lame, or like my fashion is a little bit quote unquote dated, or it's not current, or I'm not trendy. And I felt really insecure for a long time. And it's a similar thing to what your friend said, where like, oh, I'm going to do this for the vacation, what are you doing? And like there were like kids who would straight up take private jets and go to Hawaii for a weekend and then come back to school.
So you have the same experience,
right?
Yeah.
And then you know,
How'd that make you feel?
oh, it made me feel, that was the thing though, I felt horrible and shitty because I felt very quickly realized like, oh, I'm not shit, I ain't shit. That's how I felt. I'm like, there's always like there's always gonna be people who are cooler than me or better than me or whatever the fuck. And this is my 14-year-old brain talking. And but overall, like reflecting back on the experience, I'm really glad that my parents provided that and sent me there because once again, it's like I learned these soft skills to interact with these types of people, which in America you're inevitably going to have to engage and interact with, because these are the types of people who have a pipeline into like, you know, these jobs where they make decisions for you. And as we know, it's not always like meritocratic. A lot of it is like networking and whether or not you can like play a certain version of yourself that endears yourself to these types of people. And but I still like to consider I would hope and like to consider myself like pretty well rounded, because I went to a public school for college, which was like a different experience from my high school, and then I grew up in El Paso. So it wasn't like I grew up entirely in like a really in this bubble, which is like in New York you can have bubbles like the Greenwich, Connecticut bubble, where you're only with like other friends with parents who are like managing directors at Goldman Sachs, and then you go to like a hoity-toity school, and then you go to Harvard, and like you don't interact with people like outside of your socioeconomic class, you know?
Yeah, that's like very bad.
Yeah. But like again, like ultimately I'm glad I had it because I think it's rounded me out more as a person.
Yeah, I can see that. Also,
but there will be
yeah.
like challenges for sure, because
I think it's important what you said, because I feel like also part of this, you know, I hope that I can instill these beliefs that I have, like money to me is not a marker of success. I think that some of the like the rich people, a lot of the rich people I know are some of the most like underdeveloped, like not good people. Not all rich people obviously, but
right.
like you know, it doesn't really mean anything to be wealthy,
right.
And if anything, I hope that maybe that, I don't know if this is true for you, but maybe that will show him that they're just people that just so happen to be born, some of them, you know, with luck.
Right.
You know, it's not
right.
like, because I don't want him to be one of those like weird people that like worship Elon Musk, you know what I mean, or something like that either. I don't know. You're right, I'm gonna be there with him this entire time, and I'm gonna try to like lead him down my path,
right? And
that's if we get in. What if they hear this and they're like, no, you don't like rich people, how dare you?
I mean, it's just a matter, I mean, you're just doing what I think of it as like the next iterative process, like generation of being an Asian parent in America, because like for many of our parents, they were immigrants that came to America, and the easiest path to a quote unquote successful career is through the pipeline of education, where you got to study really hard, get good grades, and that's the way to get a good job, which for the most part it's the safest and most clear route of obtaining success. But I think what a lot of like immigrant parents don't understand is that the way hiring processes work in America is that it is that soft power, like it's based on networks and like whether or not you're quote unquote like cool or a good hang. And
Mino's definitely a good hang, that's for sure.
Right. And you know, I don't think my parents would really understand the value of fraternities, for instance, in college. Like frats aren't like,
that's a good point.
That ultimate power of frats is like you have this initiation fee, which is exclusionary because only people of a certain socioeconomic class, like their parents can afford to pay those initiation fees and monthly dues. But it's about that, like so many relationships in America are just down to like arbitrary things of like, oh, you were in the same club as me, you're tight. Like it's not a matter of like getting good grades and having good marks. I think that's the safe way, but to ascend into that like upper status beyond just middle management,
you just gotta be chill and hang out with you know, I felt a little bit of that because Mino used to go to a private preschool, because there are no public preschools in America, by the way. Everyone, that's like, nobody tells you that,
right? So
if you need childcare before the age of 4, you're fucked,
right?
So I remember it was so expensive, but just because of like the neighborhood I lived in,
right,
like everyone in his class were just fucking rich as shit,
right.
And then after whatever class, I would just go to their apartment, and it was like a $10 million apartment in fucking Soho, and I remember walking in like, why'd this bitch let me in? She was a nice person. She wasn't. I was like, I'm gonna steal stuff. Right. I'm definitely stealing. I'm taking all of these fucking, I don't even know what, crystal forks.
Right.
Going in my purse.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that's like such a good point you made. It's just like proximity. Yeah. Just being in proximity, you just end up hanging out with this fucking, I don't know, this person that's like a billionaire or whatever, you know?
Right. And talking this out loud, I feel like such a sensible, responsible dad, but you're just providing access and opportunity for Mino, you know, like ultimately he can choose to reject all of these potential lanes or avenues that you're like giving to him, but it's just that having that option available is so valuable.
I agree.
Like I think this is a conversation that I'm sure parents have had with their children who don't want to go to college, you know. It's like, just get the degree, go to college. You don't have to go pursue a career that requires a college degree. You can totally reject the notion of it after you have it, but should you want to, that option will be available to
Yeah.
you, you know?
Yeah, I definitely, and I just want to point out that this school, like I said in the beginning, is known for being very soft and emotion based.
Yeah.
So it's like, if it was like a rigid,
Like Dalton
uniform
school or
Dalton,
whatever,
I would
yeah.
never send him there, obviously, because I'd be like,
Right.
I don't even care if you let me in for free. This is not what I want to subject my son to.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's going to be damaging.
Right.
I also know somebody that went to Dalton, and he's so fucked up.
Now,
And
well, actually, what I want to know is, how do you feel about all of it? Because I'm sure the moms there are going to be different.
Are you kidding me? I
Okay.
fucking love rich people. I mean, I you know, ideologically, I hate them, but like,
Right.
like talking to them, I think it's fun. I think it's funny because they're all like in competition with each other. And then I'm like, hey everyone, I'm wearing a plastic shirt from Amazon. I have green hair, and then they don't even like see me as a person. So they're just like, who's this? I like this crazy
They're
weird
playing
person.
like Knives Out, but they're like, I don't trust Youngmi. She's a wild card.
Yeah, she's a
Meanwhile, you're scheming in the back.
I will steal all of your clothes while you're in the bathroom. No, they're like, why is that babysitter so drunk? I don't know. Like, they don't even, I'm not even in their like lane. So they don't fuck with me at all. Obviously. I'm just like, hey guys.
Yeah.
And also I have to say this about the nursery school that Mina used to go, where everyone was rich and we had to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was on so many drugs. What they say about rich people is true. They're
Really?
fucked up all the time. Yeah.
Like like Valium and like,
just weed vapes, just fucking
okay.
weed vaping. And like that house that I told you that I ended up going to, this $1,000,000 apartment, she was like, I drink, she was trashed, and she was like, you want more wine? I was like, yeah. So yeah, whatever. Yeah, he'll be fine.
yeah.
Obviously, hopefully he gets in. Now that I talked my shit, I didn't say anything bad. Who cares? I didn't even say the name. No one's gonna find out.
They're gonna be like, whoa, you are the host of the Venerable Feeling Asian podcast? Accepted.
Nice.
Nice.
How are you feeling, Brian? That was really interesting about your I'm glad that you said all that. I'm glad for your insight.
I don't know. I'm just it is something that I've yeah, you know, I experienced that, you know. And it is like, sometimes I wonder if I've squandered that sort of opportunity. It's an insecurity of mine for sure, where I don't think my parents realized it at the time. My mom had the foresight, like she wanted me to make those connections. But I just so happened to choose a creative career where, especially comedy, where these types of connections like aren't, it's more limited, like how beneficial they can be. Because in this career, like, it's sort of the Wild West, you know. And I think a lot of my peers like pursued a finance route where, like, once you go to these types of schools, you're kind of like groomed in a way to play in that space of,
what
like,
if Mino
finance.
goes into finance? He's not.
He could. I don't know. I mean, he might like it.
Spiraling. Remember, you know, on the first birthday for Koreans, they do this game where
Which
they
one did
put
he?
they put this rope around your head or whatever, and then you put the baby, the 1-year-old, in front of like a tray, and there's
they put a ball for like athletics, or money for money
for finance, pencil for an artist or academic, and paintbrush for artist, and like you have to put all these like things that symbolize what they're gonna be as an adult. Mino took the money.
That'd be so funny. That'd be so. I want that so badly.
He's gonna be a billionaire finance guy, and I'm gonna be so embarrassed. I'm gonna be
you're
like,
gonna be so embarrassed in your all Chanel outfit.
my son is very rich, and you're such a disappointment to me. I thought you were gonna be a starving artist.
That's so
or
funny.
Skateboarder or something.
Wow, that could happen. I could see it.
I don't know.
You're like, my mom has green hair, and I realized I wanted to do the complete opposite of whatever she was, so I went on to become a Wall Street whale.
I mean, if he is, he'll still be a nice person, hopefully. No, I don't know.
No,
whatever.
I think finance people get an overly bad rap.
Yeah, I'm sure there's many people.
I think it's not the way it was in the 80s, you know. Like, most finance people are like just nerds.
I feel like I know finance people, and they've all been very fun.
There's some shitty ones for sure, like shitty douchey people, but that's just what money does to you.
Yeah.
Regardless of industry. you just come
Good
into
point.
that amount of money, you can turn into an asshole very quickly.
He's always gonna be Mino no matter what he does. So. How are you feeling, Brian?
Okay, so funny thing happened recently. I made a stupid TikTok about beanies. It's
Oh,
just
it
like
wasn't stupid.
well,
Everyone loved it.
Well, yeah. Anyways, it went super viral, and then like this journalist at the Wall Street Journal reached out to me to talk about it,
Wow.
like their fashion arm, which I didn't know they had, but they do. And the guy was like making this piece about beanies,
Oh,
and then interviewed me because he
the
saw like,
beanie expert.
and it made me. It was kind of amusing to me, just like. I just made this spent like 2 minutes making this stupid TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
and then here's this prestigious publication, like someone with a journalism degree is like reaching out to me, like probing
Yeah.
me about the inspiration for this TikTok, and I'm like, media is a wacky place, man.
Media is wacky. That's so funny. Congrats.
Oh gosh.
But I mean, you are obviously what the video. The thing is, like, when stuff goes viral, I'm always like, okay,
you've done
this
so
struck
many
a
of these at this
nerve.
point.
Yeah, but it struck a nerve. I'm like, well, I kind of react the same way. Like, why is everyone watching this? But I'm like, there was obviously something you said that's like very
Right.
struck a nerve, and no one's talks about it. So like, you are the expert.
It's just funny.
It was a very smart joke. It was really funny.
But yeah, that was just like a funny happenstance. So I'm like, I can't believe I'm fucking talking to a journalist about a TikTok that I made.
You're like, the journalist is like, as the beanie expert, what do you have to say about beanies, Brian Park?
Oh,
Brian Park,
gosh.
beanie expert.
But I feel so relieved and so I feel normalized and back at equilibrium now, because the past 2 weeks have been tremendously busy in a good way for me. I had this like I was just busy with acting projects where I didn't even have any days in between. And in conjunction and in addition, we had the podcast, and I just found myself slammed like every day, like going to bed super early so I could wake up at 6:30 in the morning and make like early call times and stuff. And it's just a mode where I disassociate, kind of like I don't even have, my room was a mess. Because I would just come home, shower, eat, and then go to sleep, and then rinse, wash, repeat. And this is when I had a bunch of panic attacks because I was like on overdrive, and then any little time I had to myself is when I spiraled. And I finally completed my last project or commitment for the time being, and it's just a huge weight off my shoulders. I was complaining to this complaining about this to my girlfriend, who it's just, I think this happens to a lot of creatives where I just wish sometimes work would be spaced out, rather than, why does everything happen all at the goddamn same time?
I don't know. Oh, you were talking about that last week too. You were like, why do I have everything right now?
Yeah.
Did you, like, after you were finished with the last thing, did you just like sleep forever? Or what you do to relax? Did you go take a bath or something?
No. I it was just so nice, like, just to have the option to like have a slow day. So needed. I feel so great now because the last 2 weeks I was so frantic, and my brain feels at ease now, and that's just generally how I'm feeling.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Oh man, I also feel like whenever I do, I was like, I know how you feel, because whenever I do one thing that takes me 15 minutes, I'm like, I sure did it. Now it's time to drink a beer and lay down for a day. Like, I finished this 15-minute thing. Yeah.
Right.
It feels so good. It feels so good. Yeah.
I'm on a freelancer schedule. I'm a freelancer. And I don't know. I don't know if it's inordinately, and like, maybe I'm just being kind of, what is it? Not that tenacious, because I've been on a freelancer schedule for a while at this point, where I used to do that whole corporate work life thing where you go in every day
yeah.
from 9 to 7 p.m. And I'm like, maybe I just did that. I just did that for 2 weeks and I feel like my life is falling apart, you know?
I have to say that that 9 to 5 work schedule
Yeah.
is abusive. It's like it's too much. You don't have time for anything.
Right.
Yeah, it's like I don't think we should all obviously, during the pandemic I was working 8 hours a day or something.
Yeah.
And it just becomes like crazy,
But this is my evil me. I've had conversations with my friends lately about how the work-life balance in America is just so fucked. Because it's this pervasive feeling amongst a lot of younger people that you're just overworked and like just being grinded into dust because you're just so tired. And how in Europe, I don't know if it's actually the case. It seems to be. But in Europe, they have a better work-life balance because they have multiple weeks off for holiday.
Think months. Isn't that like 2 months?
Something crazy.
Yeah.
The fact that I even use the language crazy. But they take long lunches.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, isn't that, but that's so like, it's so hard for me to me, that reads as complacency. Like, how are you okay with just being just content? I don't allow myself to do that because I'm so like ambitious.
You always feel like you have to do more or something.
I wanted to do more, but I'm like, even this podcast or anything that I do it because I want to be the best at it and like obtain quote unquote greatness with it. Otherwise, like, what's the point of doing anything at all if you don't think you can be the best at what you do?
I think that
I think that's like
I agree.
But I don't know if that's definitely not healthy because I have multiple panic attacks and I fall off the wagon.
I had to go to the hospital. Well, this is the thing. I think that that's a very natural instinct for humans. And I think everyone has that, whether you live in Europe or America or Asia, where I know it's like even almost worse than America, the capitalistic work mindset.
Right.
But that's a natural like feeling that you have as a human. But then the problem, I think, is if we set up life in this way, like in modern times, it's taking advantage of that sort of drive in people to a point where it's like unhealthy. You know what I mean? Like we're supposed to like have that sort of drive and then be able to rest when we want to rest, right? It can't be that all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like it's natural to feel that way, to want to be the best at whatever you do.
Yeah.
Right. But it's just like it's too extreme now, I think. Whereas in, like we were talking about this before, most of us don't have days off anymore. We just are constantly answering emails on the weekends. I don't know one person, if I emailed them on Saturday, that wouldn't respond to an email. Do you know what I mean? If it was work related.
I'm just like, they're so lazy.
But like, I don't know one person who wouldn't, is what I'm saying. Like if you sent like a worky related email to somebody, they're going to respond on Saturday.
For sure.
Yeah, I've literally, maybe every once in a while, one person won't. And I'm like, oh, this person is resting, I guess. What a loser. But that's like, well, like that, it's almost gotten too intense now, I think. I don't know. Yeah.
Do you ever do this?
What?
Like, what are your hobbies? Do you pick up new hobbies? As of late? Or skills?
Well, I always do this thing where I start and I do it for a few days or weeks, and I always think it's ADD, but then I give up. Like I'll, like I paint and I get into these like periods where I paint a lot. And then I recently started doing this thing where I was going to make rugs. So I bought the whole thing. Oh. And then I started making one, and then I fucking forgot about it, just sitting in my room, like the kit, things like that every once in a while. Why?
This going back to my like quote unquote ambition or this like obsessive idea of being the best at something.
Mm-hmm.
I quickly give up on things once I realize that I can't be the best at it. Does that ever happen to you? Do you know what I'm saying though? It's like
I know what you're saying.
You're like, because I'll try something and I'll be like, oh, I can't. This is a lot harder than I imagined it to be.
Okay,
I can't let things just like.
Yeah.
But it's so counterintuitive because in order to be the best at something, you have to suck for a really long time and be okay,
so
with
what
it.
about tennis? Because I know you're great at tennis.
Yeah.
But were you good at it from day one, or how was that?
I honestly was.
That's what I was gonna say. Because I feel like if you had natural like instincts and you were good at it, then that's why you stuck with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Same thing with stand-up. I think the first open mic I did, I got laughs, but it's like delusion, you know, because you don't realize it's the Dunning-Kruger effect. Like the longer you do something, and then you realize like how little you know. Like it's like an inverse parabola. Like it dips down. Like dumb people. I don't know if that language is whatever. Like
I think
people
it
who
literally
are
says
dumb people. Dumb people are like people who aren't informed, think they're really smart.
Yeah,
but it's because they just don't know anything.
Yeah.
And then it dips down because like the more you learn and the more informed you become.
Are you saying that you're the dumb person in this in the Dunning-Kruger?
Well, that's the thing though, is like when you're good at something that like the first time I told a joke and got a laugh, I was like, damn, I'm really good at this. I could be the best at this.
And so you kept doing it.
I just kept doing it. But then, you know, then it was like the next 1,000 open mics, I ate shit. But I was like clinging on to that first one. Like if I had bombed in that first open mic, I don't know if I would have stuck with it.
I mean, I saw you recently, your last set, and it was really good. I feel like maybe you are kind of a natural at it. But that...
No, well, I worked...
Me,
that was my entire fucking 20s, though, was the shitty... That's the sad thing about comedy is like... So much of our life is spent in these like damp, dank basement bars that are like clinging on for dear life.
So sad.
Yeah. But no regrets.
Yeah. Well, for me, I always feel like I was bad at everything.
Okay.
So I just kind of did it. Like I was, well, this is a lesson. I feel like I've said this already, but like in high school, I started doing volleyball or in middle school because all my friends were doing it and I wanted to hang out with my friends and I sucked. I was literally the worst one, but I just kept doing it.
Just kept doing it.
Because all my friends were doing it. And then by the time I was 16.
But how do you get over the fact that you're like, are you aware that you're not as good as your friends while you're doing it?
I think deep down inside, I was okay with the fact that I sucked at volleyball. You know, I was like, I'm here to hang out with my friends. You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a fuck if do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, also, I'm here to get away from my parents, basically.
Sure.
So I didn't give a shit. If it really mattered to me and I sucked, then it would have hurt my feeling. Like, stand up matters to me. This matters to me. And if I try to do this podcast or stand up and I sucked at it, that would really bother me. But I don't care about volleyball, right? Anyway, the lesson is I kept doing volleyball. By the time I was 16, I was like one of the best.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What position were you?
I was not one of the best. I was mediocre.
What position?
But I was not bad.
What position were you? Were you like a
setter,
a striker? Wow.
And I wasn't great. I'm going to take that back. I was just okay. Like I was okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes I would be in the start of the game,
sure.
the starter. Sometimes I was the starter, sometimes I was not, but I wasn't the back of the herd anymore. I was solidly middle of the herd. So let that be a lesson to you. If you suck at something, try really hard for 6 years of your childhood and you will be okay at it.
Wow.
Not like Brian who's just like great at it and then he, you know.
No, well.
But then my best friend was like very gifted athletically, and so she was great at it from day one and she was still way better than me at the end of all that. So, but it's like, you know, whatever.
Right. But it's this I feel like there's a lot of parallels happening here with I think we've solved TikTok's algorithm here. Because this is exactly how I feel with this, like per your recommendation and your encouragement, I made a TikTok because why not? I'm only stifling this podcast by not making content that could potentially reach new ears.
Yeah.
You know? Now, I've set aside like I don't want to spend too much time on it, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna spend like 10 minutes a day just to make a stupid fucking TikTok video. And the first one I ever made went super viral, and then that's what I mean. That's when I'm like, oh, Youngmi, like maybe I'm good at this. The next, I'm on like TikTok number 8, and the rest have bombed. What the fuck's going on?
Wow, that's like your trajectory. You're good at it, and then
just
what's going on with that?
Dick for like the next 40.
Meanwhile, just like pump him out. I'm like, I don't care if anyone sees this.
But everyone does see it. You're good at it.
No, but I feel like but this is I think the important thing is like to answer your question.
Yeah.
Would I be like, do I keep doing something if I'm bad at it? Yes and no. Yes, if there are other ulterior motives for me to do something, I keep doing it. I don't have to be the best. I think my value and maybe I think this is an issue you've brought up, Ryan. Like, you know, you place a lot of value on like perfectionism and being great at something.
Yeah.
Whereas in my value, I think lies in, yes, that, but to the extent where if it really is something important, like I would not care if I sucked at tennis. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Because like it's just like I don't care about it.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's like that's the difference.
Right. But inherently, if you do anything, that means you care enough about it. No. Like you just wouldn't
as an adult, like when I started volleyball when I was 12, again, it was because of my friends, right?
Right.
But no, actually, I don't know, Ryan, because like I sometimes sign up for like 1 year. I did kickboxing for an entire year.
Yeah.
I wasn't that great. I was okay at it.
Yeah.
But I was just doing it for just so I would know kickboxing.
Let's fucking go.
I wasn't like I have to beat up the fucking biggest guy in here. Like it wasn't. You know what I mean? But I did feel a tinge of that.
Right.
Like I want to be better than
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I know. I'm so competitive.
That's not bad. I mean, look at you. You're great at tennis. It's not bad. So, yeah. We were speaking to the Wall Street Journal. That's really funny because I also did an interview for Rolling Stone.
About what?
About this. This is about, I'm not even joking, about Korea. About
Wait, what?
Korean culture. Did I tell you this? About what I talked about? So they called me and they're like, we saw your Squid Game translation.
Okay.
And I was like, cool. And she was like, I kind of want to have a long conversation with this cultural stuff about Korea that people might have missed, not even because of the translation, but like what does this mean and what does this mean? And so I was like,
that's so much pressure.
But I was just like,
was it a panel or was it just you?
It was just me.
Wow.
I know. I wish there was other Koreans on there so they could vouch for. I was just pulling shit out of my ass.
Oh my God, Youngmi.
Like I was like, I know this is so bad for us, Brian. The Koreans are gonna hear and they're gonna be like, "What the fuck are you talking?" What if the writer,
what if they
Hwang Dong-hyuk, he's like, "What the fuck is this bitch talking about?"
So it was a Korean journalist who's interviewing you.
No, she wasn't Korean. It was American.
So who's Hwang Dong-hyuk?
The creator of Squid Game, Hwang Dong-hyuk.
Okay.
And so I was like, Hwang Dong-hyuk. Sorry, I really hope I said that right.
YouTubers, I'm gonna fact check this right now, and I'm
Hwang Dong-hyuk, the creator of Squid Game.
Okay, I'm so dumb. You're right.
And so I was like, I brought up like Hungbu and Norbu, like the evil brother, good brother, like how there's like aspects of that in the two characters.
Okay,
that's true.
More than I know. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, and then these other like Korean folktales that are like very deep-rooted beliefs in Korea.
Right.
There's been a long history in Korean theater that like the bad guy in traditional theater is usually, like a representative of like an oppressive, rich elite person. That's like a big theme in Korean culture. For thousands of years, I brought that up. I think I did okay. I did say it like this is my interpretation.
Right.
So
I think that all sounds spot on.
Yeah, I'm just like, this is stuff that Korean people just know, and they probably saw that in Squid Game, but
right.
If you never grew up hearing these stories, you wouldn't see those parallels. But
nice.
I do think it's funny how we are the people now talking to magazines.
To big media.
It's like we keep saying, don't listen to us. We don't know what we're talking about. And people are like, tell us what you think.
Wow.
Us.
We're in bed with big media.
We're failing upwards. Sending my son to private school.
Oh my God.
Really moving up this ladder here.
Oh, guys, you sip from a mason jar cup.
Is this a flower vase? What's going on here?
I don't know.
This is very Brooklyn of you to be drinking. This is Brian's water. It's a mason jar.
Well, that's exciting. When does it air?
it probably will be out by the time this episode is out. If you're looking to listen to it, I'm gonna tag it on social media. I did make a TikTok about something I discussed on the interview about this really old book that like the Squid Game creator was obsessed with, that I found in my research. And it was like anti-colonialism message about, you know, because of Imperial Japan was like, you know, colonizing Korea at that point. So was very affected by this book, which he mentions over and over again in the show.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, hopefully I don't get it. I didn't fuck it up. Koreans are like, I don't think this person's Korean. I think she made it. She's just making up words. What if I made up words and I was just like, it's bang dong sick. I should have just done that and just fuck with them.
It's a bit.
It's a bit. I was doing a bit. I'm Korean. I don't know anything about Korea. That's my bit.
It's a bit.
The entire thing was a joke, everyone.
It reminds me of if I was that famous.
Yeah.
Where it just becomes an everyday occurrence that you're being interviewed for, I don't know, like media publications.
Yeah.
Just to like troll them. Just say like pull shit out of your fucking ass. Just like, I can't believe you're printing this. This is ridiculous.
I'm gonna start doing that. If I become famous and it's like some annoying like a person interviewer that doesn't know anything about Korea, I'm gonna just make up stuff like, in Korea, bang dong sick requires that you sit outside while I'm talking. So can you just say shit like that?
Can we just title that our episode?
Bang dong
bang
sick.
Dong sick.
Bang dong sick. No, in Korea that's called bang dong sick. Just with a really American accent. Bang dong sick.
Bang dong sick. People think it's an allegory for overcoming adversity in the face of your parents' trauma, but it's actually a popular banchan dish. Oh God. Well, I think that wraps up our episode, our solo episode.
Yeah, I think that was great. I'm glad that we got a chance to catch up with each other and bang dong sick.
Bang dong sick. And we have some amazing guests lined up for you in the coming weeks. So thank you again for your support, everyone. Youngmi, where can our listeners find you online?
YM Mayor, and then TikTok Youngmi Mayor. How about you, Brian?
At It's Brian Park, and I have a TikTok, and that is also at It's Brian Park.
That's good.
And follow our Feeling Asian podcast on socials. We're on YouTube, we're on TikTok. Follow our Instagram.
Feeling Asian podcast.
I think that's it.
Bye.
We'll see you next week, guys. Bye.